The Sundrop and Moonstone are two of the most important objects from Rapunzel's Tangled adventure series, but these pieces of magic are seriously complicated. There is so much we don't know about these ancient marvels, but that won't be the case for long. Keep watching to find out what makes the Sundrop and Moonstone so powerful, and why they need each other to exist.
You have to be careful who you trust.
The Sundrop Flower. The history of the Sundrop flower goes all the way back 1,000 years. It's first explained in the movie Tangled. A single drop of sunlight fell to the earth centuries before Rapunzel was born. It grew into a flower that could be picked. The pollen from this flower has incredible powers, but we'll get to those in a minute. The flower was found by an old witch named Mother Gothel. She was a student of an evil demon named Zon Tiri, so she was very powerful. She knew the incantation to sing to the Sundrop to make it work. The king and queen of Corona also knew about the Sundrop. When the queen was pregnant with Rapunzel, she became very ill. The only chance that she could be saved was by the Sundrop. The king sent out his men to find it and bring it back to the castle. Mother Gothel tried to hide the flower from them, but she accidentally revealed it. The king's military picked the flower, and that's where everything gets really complicated. The Sundrop is the most powerful object in all of the Seven Kingdoms. When it was picked, the location where it grew became enchanted and sacred. There's a small pedestal where the flower grew, and it's surrounded by magical rocks called black rocks. These become really important later on. These rocks can grow anywhere, and they leave destruction in their wake. So what's the big deal about this Sundrop? Well, the powers that it possesses are amazing. The Sundrop has the power of healing. It can heal anything from minor wounds to fatal ones. But that's not all it can do, because believe it or not, it can resurrect the dead. It gives the owner a really long life, and it keeps the owner looking super young. Mother Gothel is actually pretty ancient. This is why she wanted to keep the Sundrop for herself. When the Sundrop flower is fed to the queen while she's pregnant, it totally cures her. She's able to live. The powers pass to Rapunzel, who hasn't been born yet. It comes out in her hair. It glows and emits power when you sing the healing incantation. But if the hair gets cut, the power leaves it. Gothel is the one who discovered this. The second she cut it, the hair turned brown. She just really didn't want to grow old, so she stole the baby and locked her in a tower. That way she could have all of the Sundrop's power to herself. At the end of the movie, Eugene cuts her hair. But she's still the living manifestation of the Sundrop. Her hair grows back in the show after Rapunzel touches the black rocks. In The Alchemist Returns, we find out even more about the Sundrop flower. The flower itself still exists. Bavarian does an experiment on it. He learns that its powers solely live inside of Rapunzel. She's the Sundrop. We also find out in the Season 1 finale that removing the Sundrop was an even bigger deal. King Frederick was warned by Kirin not to do it. If the flower was removed, it would have major consequences. It would also awaken an ancient darkness. But the king did it anyway so he could save his wife and unborn baby.
No one can ever know I took you outside the walls of Corona. Don't worry, no one is gonna find out.
The black rocks. We can't talk about the Moonstone without first talking about the black rocks. These rocks are massive, thorny things that just appear out of nowhere. They first grew around the spot where the Sundrop was picked. The first time we learn about them is in the TV movie Tangled Before Ever After. Cassandra takes Rapunzel to see where the Sundrop comes from. Rapunzel accidentally touches these rocks and her powers get reactivated. Her magical hair grows back. It also activates the rocks. A few months later, they start growing all over the place. They're headed straight for Corona. These black rocks are determined to find the Sundrop. Every time she gets near them, her hair grows, and so do the rocks. These rocks can destroy whole kingdoms. This is the ancient darkness that King Frederick was warned about, and the black rocks come from the Moonstone Opal. In Season 2, Rapunzel, Eugene, and Cassandra set out to stop this darkness. They follow the black rocks, which they believe will lead them to the Moonstone. And they do eventually. And things go very wrong. The Moonstone. The magical Moonstone is introduced in the second season. It first appears in a flashback in the Season 2 premiere, Beyond the Corona Walls. Here we learn that there's an opal that King Edmund believed would stop the black rocks. Oh yeah, he's also Eugene's real father. It turns out that this stone is the Moonstone Opal. King Edmund tried to destroy the Moonstone, but he couldn't. He ordered Kirin and Adira to keep it a secret. This happened about 25 years before Tangled. We hear about it in the TV special Rapunzel and the Great Tree. In this episode, Rapunzel and the gang discover the magic Moonstone formula. They meet Hector, who is a dangerous enemy. Rapunzel has to use the Moonstone formula to save her friends, but it's completely uncontrollable. So what is this Moonstone anyway? This enchanted object has a similar history to the Sundrop. At the same time that a drop of sunlight fell to the earth, so did a drop of moonlight. They each created magical, powerful objects. The Moonstone Opal is basically the opposite of the Sundrop flower. The power of the Sundrop is life, and the power of the Moonstone is death. Instead of healing things, it destroys things. Instead of keeping people young, it causes them to decay. In fact, it basically symbolizes the afterlife. The Moonstone is also activated by an incantation, but not the one we're used to. Lord Dumanis and the Squirrel. Lord Dumanis lived over 1,000 years before Tangled ever took place. This magical being was both an inventor and scientist. He spent much of his life in the battle against Zon. Zon was an ancient evil demon who cast a huge deadly blizzard over Corona. He defeated the demon and other evil spirits and imprisoned them in a machine. Dumanis was a scientist first and foremost. He went with his students to find the Sundrop and Moonstone. He knew that some major natural event had caused the sunlight and moonlight to fall to the earth. He did a bunch of research alongside his students. Dumanis knew that if Zon got the Moonstone and Sundrop, it would be really bad. He also needed to hide all his research on these things. Everything that was known about the powerful objects was on a scroll. He divided the scroll into 4 pieces and hid them all over the world. He eventually defeated Zon and banished him, but he still needed to hide in case the demon came back. His spirit inhabited a monkey named Vigor.
Wow, if this guy really is Dumanis, this is a huge honor.
Once he spoke to Rapunzel through Vigor and told her what she needed to know. We met Dumanis and Vigor in Lost and Found. This is the second to last episode of Season 2. He guides them through the maze to find the last piece of the scroll. This scroll is super important. It contains instructions on how to unite the Sundrop and Moonstone. Rapunzel is the Sundrop. She must get to the Moonstone. It will summon the ultimate power. We don't exactly know what this means yet, but we do know that it is the only way to stop the black rocks from spreading. If Rapunzel fails, the black rocks will continue searching for her forever. They'll spread and destroy everything in their paths. Dumanis also predicted that someone in Rapunzel's group would betray her, but for some strange reason, he wouldn't tell her who this person was. What he did tell Rapunzel, though, is that there was a lot she needed to figure out on her own. That's not very helpful at all. Destinies Collide. Destinies Collide is the final episode of Season 2. This is where everything about the Sundrop and Moonstone come together. There are a ton of big reveals in this episode. It was action-packed and full of tiny details. Let's break it down. Rapunzel and her crew have finally made it to the Dark Kingdom. Rapunzel finds out about the prophecy that Eugene has. He's super worried about someone betraying her. Rapunzel doesn't want to believe it would be her bestie Cassandra. The group takes some abandoned gondolas and they encounter a warrior in a bear mask. Adara shows up. Remember her? She was ordered by King Edmund long ago to keep the Moonstone a secret. The warrior is actually King Edmund.
You are my son.
He takes Eugene to his castle. We find out all about how the dark rocks destroyed his kingdom. Edmund tells Eugene that he is his father and that it's his duty to protect the Moonstone like all his ancestors. He must even protect it from Rapunzel. Eugene gets really conflicted. When Edmund could not destroy the Moonstone, he evacuated his kingdom to save his people. He sent Adara, Kieran, and Hector to stop anyone from finding it. That's right, Hector was from the Dark Kingdom too. Eugene tries to keep Rapunzel from entering the chamber, but she finds another way in. Cassandra convinces Rapunzel to let her go in first and help fight. There's a big battle where they all fight against Edmund and the ghosts of his ancestors. Edmund finally understands that Rapunzel isn't there to use the Moonstone for evil. He says that only someone who is pure of heart and has the Sundrop powers can enter. Eugene tells him that Rapunzel is the Sundrop, so King Edmund lets her in. This is a huge moment. Rapunzel is about to fulfill her destiny. She'll unite the two powers and stop the Black Rocks. She'll have an even greater ultimate power. But just as she reaches for the Moonstone Opal, Cassandra reaches out and grabs it. We could not believe it. How could Cassandra do that? The power of the Moonstone throws Rapunzel and the rest of her crew back across the bridge. The Moonstone's magic flows through Cassandra and changes her appearance. It destroys her armor and makes her a new outfit out of the black rocks themselves. It also turns her hair bright blue. The rocks begin growing like crazy and destroying the chamber. Cassandra says it's her destiny to have the Moonstone. She tells Rapunzel that she warned her to be careful who she trusted. Come on, Cassandra. This is not the moment for I told you so. We couldn't believe that Cassandra did this. So what does all this mean? Well, Cassandra may think it's her destiny to have the Moonstone, but we know that she's got it all twisted, because obviously the Moonstone belongs to Rapunzel. She's pure of heart and embodies the Sundrop. It's up to her to unite them and save the Seven Kingdoms from the Black Rocks. There are a lot of theories as to why Cassandra betrayed Rapunzel. All we know for sure is that the first episode of Season 3 is called Cassandra's Revenge. What does she need revenge for? Season 3 is the last season, and we already know that Rapunzel and Eugene get married and have a happily ever after. In Tangled Ever After, we see their wedding, and Rapunzel has her short brown hair again. Something will make her lose the Sundrop power. We can't wait to see how it all goes down. So did you see Cassandra's betrayal coming? If so, let us know which clues gave her intentions away, and while you're at it, let us know who your favorite Tangled character is in the comments below. And that's everything we know about the Sundrop and Moonstone. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video from the things. And don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.